Well, thank you very much, Professor Funmi. And let me begin by saying that a lot of ground has already been covered by colleagues who have given expressive and very important personal perspectives on the current state of affairs in the African continent, in the Horn of Africa region, and in Sudan and South Sudan. Trying to analyze and dissect this morning are interrelated. They are inextricably linked given the nature of people. You know, we have shared identities all across the countries that we're talking about. We have porous borders, and some of the countries were one before, like Sudan and South Sudan. And so drawing lines in the sand does not automatically separate the people, does not separate the economies, does not separate geographies. And therefore, whenever there is a crisis in one spot, there is a very maximum likelihood that it will overspill to the other. And so, since the launch of African Public Square is exclusively dedicated to the current affairs in Sudan and South Sudan, I would only try to fill in the gaps of what has already been said, because in my view, a lot has been said as relating to the crisis in the two countries. What is the topical issue as we speak concerning the two countries? The story of the day. The story of the day is a crisis in Sudan. And the crisis in Sudan is about what you may say, going back to the idea of militiafication, which in my research has come out as something called the gun class, is basically about the militia state capture. And when you talk about the militia state capture, what leads to it? Of course, there are numerous factors, but more importantly is something the political scientists would call political opportunity. And in the case of Sudan, this relates to the breakup of the two countries, and Sudan under Bashir being a new patrimonial system lost a lot of resources that was necessary for lubricating the wheels of the patronage, and that exposed new layers of conflict and new layers of contradiction. And one of those layers which was really buried under the crisis between the South, you know, the dichotomy that the previous speakers brought to the fore, that the past conflicts were defined as South and North, as Muslim Africans, as Muslim Arab, and then African enemies, Christians. New layers of conflict have emerged. And this is what you can put under the general rubric of Arab community of the Sudan. And this Arab community of the Sudan is literally split into two components. The Arabs of the Nile, which most people in the Sudan refer to as the Jalaba, and then the Arabs of the Sahara, who are now being called, for those who are familiar, have knowledge of Arabic language, they are now being called Arab Shattat, you know. So, in the past, they acted collusively during the Mahdiya to fight the occupation. And after 1956, they also acted collusively against South Sudan, you know, doing all the things that you must be aware of. And with South Sudan exiting the Union, the conflict between these two Arab communities became very apparent, and especially with resources in Darfur, I mean the gold, and then migration across the Sahara to Europe, and then the weakness of the system itself. When Bashir became weak, Bashir went out to look for a force to protect him. And what we used to refer to as Janjaweed, which is now the RSF, became the most suitable actor in the scene. And so, with more political opportunities, a weakening system, deteriorating economy, access to natural resources, the RSF became no longer a state-managed militia. It became a kind of a parallel force of its own. And at that stage, the state has very difficult choices to make, either to suppress it, or to continue to collude with it, or to continue to contain it within the available institutional framework. These difficult choices ended up in one approach, and which was one of the blunders that Al-Burhan took to try to suppress the RSF. And we found ourselves in this cycle of conflict that we are all aware of.
Thank you.
So,
Dr. Majak,
okay.
we have
I'm trying to conclude. So that's the background. Now, as we speak, how do you solve this conflict? Some pathways have been provided, but in my view, this is a very difficult problem to solve. Bringing peace, bringing some arrangement between the two warring parties is not easy. Trying to shore up the civilian component, which is now based in Addis, is also very difficult. I would say an opportunity has been lost when the revolution took place. Had the civilian revolution had been supported, maybe the picture would have been very different. But as we speak, this is a very, very difficult problem. Someone has called it a wicked problem before. I don't know. What does future suggest for us? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Majak. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I know you have a lot of knowledge as well as experience on this topic, but because of the limited airtime, I just want to move us along rapidly. Can I invite our moderator to take us through the next level, please? We have Madam Hanatete waiting online. Thank you.